Hello, hello, Violeta.
Morning.
Super nice that you're here. And we just found out that we both have curls.
Wow.
Yeah, because we actually just communicate through WhatsApp, or we have been communicating through WhatsApp. Super nice that you could make time to be here. What I want to talk to you about is your business, your Yoni egg business.
Okay, that's
And
exactly.
maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself, like who you are, where you're from, whatever you would like to share.
Yeah. Well, let's start with who I am. I'm Violeta. I I have I think I have chosen the name the day I was born. It was just meant to be mine. And I really love being Violeta. As a child, I didn't really like, but I love being Violeta. I think that suits my personality best. I'm originally from the Balkans, but I'm a world traveler. I'm traveling since about 20 years nearly. I've been
Wow.
on the road and discovering the world, discovering myself, going deeper into alleys and climbing mountains. And the same I did basically with myself as well, going high and going deep and finding the path of life as it was flowing as such. And meanwhile, I have returned back to Europe. I'm living in Germany right now. So this is where we have connected, in fact. And yeah, that is a little bit about me, like a little bit of what of my background. What I love doing is supporting women. I love supporting people in living their potential and really unfolding whatever they have within. I love chocolate. I love sunshine and I love nature. Nature is my absolute inspiration. And I try to live as much as possible close to nature, not only physically, but in all my way of expressing myself, in way of living, in way of teaching. I'm a five elements yoga therapist and I'm a body worker. So wherever it's always this very ancient and very natural approaches to life that have gotten me to be where I am now, to understand this better. And I come from a heritage of wise women. So I think nature and the wisdom of everything what nature has, including the cycles, the animals, the beings in all kind of forms, they are always very connected to my roots and my ancestors. So I think that knowledge was something what was very early transmitted, and I was really blessed to receive so much. And then I got amazing teachers all over the world who were supporting me in who I was meant to be, to serve my highest purpose.
Mm. And your highest purpose is?
My highest purpose is to teach and to travel and to support people in shining, in living their vitality and their health in a full blossom, to
Mm.
step out of their patterns, to get out of their limitations and really to create themselves abundance and health, joy and pleasure. Pleasure is very important for me. For me, pleasure was always something that comes from within. And I never really understood this association, that pleasure that always had this kind of sexual touch, because I never saw pleasure as something only limited to sex. And then at some point, I started understanding it's much more. It's how I look at a flower. It's how I talk to my fellow human beings. It's how I walk on the earth. All that can be connected to pleasure. And when we discover this deep feeling of pleasure within, then we continue living every step of our lives in this spirit.
Ah, I love that. I've never really thought about it that way. And that's so, wow. Thanks.
Well, I think there was a key situation to that. I had a business card and there was some space on that. It looked so plain. And I asked my my designer, if he would just write pleasure activist on that. And he looked at me and he asked me, are you sure? So I thought, well, of course I'm sure, just write it on. So we did it. I had thousands of cards and I never really brought this into any connection with sex. I mean, of course, it's a small, like it's the tip of the iceberg, but it's not really what I understood. So ultimately, when I started receiving calls and emails, oh, what type of services I'm offering, I understood, oh man, I think there is a deep gap in understanding, in this understanding of pleasure, of what I feel pleasure is and what other people might interpret. So I started teaching, especially women. Women are really very close to my heart. And I love working with women. I love teaching them how to live their life with full pleasure, how to start blooming. And just like remove the dust and the spider webs and everything and just like cheeks, just get out and start living. That doesn't mean that it's always easy.
No.
No, hell no.
A lot of conditioning. Violeta, it's so cool that I'm talking to you now, because we were supposed to talk before, and now it makes sense because I don't believe in coincidences. And now it makes sense because I recently also learned more of, well, actually about myself, also that I want to, I am getting rid of these old beliefs about myself. It doesn't serve me. I have been stepping into complete freedom, and sometimes this old still tries to hold me back, and then I'm like, no, you are not allowed anymore. I'm moving into a new state of being a person who enjoys pleasure and thinks also that it's more than just sex. As you said, I just didn't give it the word pleasure. And the interesting thing is, Violeta, how people react to me. I still have to get used to it, because I also see that men are giving me a different kind of attention, which made me before lock up, because I don't always feel comfortable with certain attention. And now I'm more like, yeah, it's actually your problem. If you assume something because of my new state, that is not my problem.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting.
It's an interesting development. I think that it's a little bit, sexual liberation, or very liberated people, they are very attractive to others. But it is dangerous as well. And that is something what was coming through generations, through history, and through many cultures, that this was always tricky to deal with. That's why we had this kind of sexual suppression and everything in the past. And that's why this is a quality that so many systems actually really try to put down. The less you feel the connection within, and the less you feel connected with your source, the better you are to be manipulated.
Yeah.
And the more clarity you have in your center, in your core, in your source of being, in your source of life, in your creative power, being that it's not only the creative power of creating art, of creating yourself, recreating yourself. The more you're connected with that, the more power you have, and the more you are able to encourage people. And then, yeah, you're right. Then it's about them, what they do with it, with this.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. I'm so curious to hear, because you say what you said. You are actually a pleasure awakener, kind of maybe the mother of pleasure. I don't know how you...
Well, I think it would go a bit far, but I think I'm I think I'm coming from a part of the world where life is not always been easy, you know. Coming from the Balkans, that meant that you really always had to stand up and always had to regrow into your own potential. And then life has really shaken me a lot and given me so many challenges all my life through. You know, I had phases where I was simply praying for just like a couple of days without life lesson. I was just like, okay, look, universe, I would just like to have a break. I don't want any self-development. I'm fine. Leave it for the Violeta in next life. And then life would just give me more and more lessons. And, you know, it's a little bit with, like if you compare it with teething. So in this process, everything is uncomfortable. You feel the pain. You don't want that. You don't want to live. You don't want teeth. But then one day when your teeth are grown and you bite in and you can bite yourself through, it's really a fabulous feeling. And this is what life has always given me. So, and this was only possible through my own, how can I say, through my own willpower and through my own ability to see the pleasure in the simplest things, because life was pretty gray at some days of my life, many days of my life.
Yeah. And so I would love to make the link to also to the Yoni eggs, because you started, I want you to tell about it. I ordered one. And for me, it was a bit of a taboo is too big, but it was kind of uncomfortable in the beginning. And I just really so enjoy wearing it. It makes me feel, at certain days, it makes me feel complete. It makes me feel like I'm doing something special for this vessel here on earth. Can you explain, like, how did you get to, like, what ignited your Yoni egg business?
Well, I'm really happy. First of all, I'm really happy to hear that, because actually ever since we never spoke about your experience. And I do remember the ordering process. And I mean, I will leave you one day to tell the details about it. But yeah, but that's what pretty much women experience, is kind of, what's going to happen? What is this going to be? And what is this going to touch in my life? But I haven't been discovering yet. So for me, as I mentioned, there were great periods in my life. When I started with the Yoni eggs, it was really a black period of my life. I had just had an accident, and I was in a pretty severe health condition. And from all that zest for living and my passion and my ability to move and to move not only physically but even in my mind, I felt I shrank into, I can't even describe it. I just became a body, just like, you know, I was just existing. And after the physical things were sorted, I realized my intuition was always very strong. I realized that my connection to the source, so everything below the belly button, was slightly altered. In this time, I didn't know anything about any type of work I'm doing now, and I was not aware. I just felt something is different, and I just felt I cannot think, because my thinking was never really happening here. It was very much related to my heart center. It was very much related to my womb. That was always the center of my yeah, I would call it my navigation center. Let's call it like that. And as I was not really able to move, I have started using the Yoni egg I have had before, but I never really recognized any kind of great potential in that. I just bought it, and for me it was just, okay, it's there, and I used it, fine.
Why did you use it before? Why did you use it? What was it before?
Well, because everybody had it. Like, I lived in Asia, and you know, it was so natural just to have it. It just part, like, you know, like you will have a kettle in the kitchen here. It's like everybody has a yoni egg.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So, but I then started with wearing the yoni egg without really being able to physically move. I started working with my work as a yoga therapist, or what I know from my body worker background as a myofascial therapist. I started engaging the different parts of the body and the different parts of the muscles, the pelvic floor. And I started how suddenly, I felt how suddenly the energy started moving in my body. And by then still, I didn't know what that yoni egg really is. It took me quite a bit of research on finding out that shamanic cultures, the Tao and the Tantra, all these kind of very profound teachings, they have had some use of yoni work or some use of the egg. And that is what changed everything for me. That is what made me really understand what a power that is. And then the next step to that was that I had a green jade egg. And maybe for those of you who know, or maybe not, the jade egg is the original egg quality for the practice, at least in the Tao. In the shamanic culture, it's not. It's the obsidian, for example. But in the East, it was the green jade as the most precious stone. But the stone didn't speak to me. It was okay, but it didn't really, you know, it didn't really do anything. I was not so much into stones. I mean, that's some kind of 5-6 years ago. I was not so much into stones. And to be honest, I was a little bit, you know, when somebody would say stones have different qualities, I would be like, yeah, sure. You know, this kind of, you know, this hippie thing. And then I was getting some eggs made because I started with this as well by chance. And instead of the green jade, and I brought some of them here with me, instead of the green jade that I had, I put my hand on a block of red jasper stone. I cannot, you can see it?
Yeah.
So I put my hand on this red jasper, and suddenly I felt an incredible vibration, something I have never had with a stone. And this is where I started understanding, man, there are qualities. So I went home, I read up the qualities of red jasper just to find out that this is a stone that is incredibly detoxifying, that it's incredibly transforming, that it's causing bringing fertility, bringing new ideas, giving you willpower, giving you stamina, and that it's an incredibly earthy and grounding stone. So this is when I started to understand, man, of course, like everything in nature has a specific quality. Every plant has different purposes. Every human being has different quality and purposes. So, okay, Violeta, stop smiling. Every of these stones have different purposes. And then I started really understanding how deep we can go to the bottom of that, and started producing as well new qualities. So this is how I basically started with just a few eggs. I had a handful of eggs, and this is how I started doing it.
Wow. And then, and you were sick around that time, or not sick, but you were disconnected from the lower part of your body?
I mean, physically really very, very unable. And then it was not the yoni eggs that have changed everything. There was a lot of different work as well, but I think the connection to my womb, and the connection to my yoni, to my intuitive center, to my fertility center, that came with the yoni eggs. I think in a regular way it wouldn't have been possible for me, but I felt that the difference came because I knew how I felt before. And suddenly it was just like a big cut, and suddenly it didn't exist. Now, this is something what I was maybe blessed to experience, though I would call it my dark times. But I was blessed to experience because I could feel the significant difference between these two phases in a very short time of my life. Many women, including myself, but that as well forms part of it, we carry something from the first days of our lives, coming from the womb of our moms, carrying the ancestral stuff within, and we are taking it through our lifetime with our own stories. Meaning we have our menstruations, we have our pregnancies, we have maybe abortions, miscarriages, we have infertility, fertility questions, we have meanwhile in Europe, what I see very often and what sometimes really touches me very, very hard is how many surgeries are happening, and sexuality, sexual intercourse, my own sexuality within. So all this is kind of a little pearls on these chains. They're all together, and sometimes they're all lined up. And for us, it is about creating ourselves a beautiful necklace that we are able to wear with everything we have gone through, to really wear it with pride, because each one of these conditionings or these situations, occasions, has taught us something, has brought us forward. And they might be sometimes pleasant, they might be unpleasant, yet they form part of everything who we are.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's a way of going about it. I also have a different perspective to that, and I totally agree. It's also what you choose, because my choice is actually to say, that was that, this necklace, I unravel it and the pearls can drop off. I'm creating a new version of me, and both is possible. It depends on what you would like to.
My feeling is that once you have accepted and reworn that necklace, the first one, that you really embrace everything there was, that it's much easier to create a new one.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you have to first see it and look at it
and
before
to really
you can
accept it, to surrender to that, and to feel what is it, what is part of me, what is it, what I'm carrying, what is inherited, what can I clear, and where can I polish a little bit more, but ultimately to go into this really deep acceptance, self-acceptance of the body, of the mind, of the sexuality, of the Yoni, and as well of everything what we have been taught while coming along.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, definitely. So then you started with your business, and then you learned more about yourself and other women as well, I guess, because people write you, right? It's like the process is usually like this. You want a Yoni egg, you tell a little bit about yourself, and you use that to intuit into which egg is best suitable for.
Well, sort of. In the past, I lived in Asia, it was a little bit easier because women would come to me. So I would have a direct connection with the women, and I would be easily able to pick or to listen to which Yoni egg is calling for her. Now, coming to Europe, I discovered, first of all, nobody knew what Yoni eggs are.
Oh, really?
That was this big, oh my God. And everyone was like, what eggs, what?
Where do you put it?
Yoni as well. And I would be, well, darling, you have a Yoni and she's beautiful.
I love it.
But I realized that I cannot really meet all these women I would love to meet. And I was traveling a lot in the beginning. I was only working as a traveling egg seller. And seriously, everything was tired.
Here I have all the eggs. Yeah.
I got to understand that it's 2018 and I was rejecting it so much, like, no, please, I don't want this online thing. So for me, it was getting what I love to do and what I feel how it's supposed to be combined with the modern technology. And in the past, it wouldn't be that a woman would go and just pick an egg and that's it. It was like this knowledge, the sacred knowledge about the eggs was passed on from woman to woman. The use of the Yoni egg, like the modern teaching we have now online, that is a little bit different. In the past, it was really passed on from woman to woman. It was a personal teaching because each one of us is different. Her shape, her tissue, her yoni, everything, her anatomy is different. I mean, we all have the same organs, but still some muscles and some parts of the body need to be activated. Some maybe a little bit cooled down. So for this purpose, it was very important that it's given from woman to woman. So this is what I try to do with my way of working, of connecting each woman with the yoni egg. And now I'm going to tell you a secret. Actually, everything that the women are telling me in terms of stories and in terms of experiences, I appreciate it, because I know some women really love writing, but I don't need it. What I need is actually only her photo, and this is what I meditate on. Some people are thinking, like, if I'm taking the pendulum, it would be really hard. I have several hundreds of eggs. And I would have to ask each one of them, like, no, I'm intuitively connecting with the yoni eggs, and just checking which one resonates to this woman. Because you can imagine, I don't know the pussy size of every woman. So, you know, it's very challenging to say, oh, you might be this one, because there are no stereotypes. This is what people think. You can start with a medium one, it's gonna be fine. Well, I'm just remembering an incident where I was in a class where yoni eggs were the topic, and, you know, one lady asked which size she should start with, and she was told you could start with medium. And I thought, well, if the average shoe size is 39, we are not all wearing 39 either. So we would wear the shoes that are suitable for us. And in the same way, the yoni eggs, some women might be older and they still need smaller eggs because they are having so many contractions, or they are having so much tension. And some women are younger and we would say, oh, you know, a small one would be fine, and they eventually still need a larger egg, because everything in our body is so individual, like every woman, that only an individually created yoni egg can actually meet the full purpose and serve the woman to the fullest.
Yeah, that's actually perfect that you say that, because for you, it's so, like, you know, you have all this knowledge already in you. I don't, first of all, and I'm sure the people that will watch this do not have the knowledge. What do we use yoni eggs for?
Okay, now there are different ways of using the yoni eggs. Some women, I would say that two rough paths. One is the simple, typical physical path. Let's say on a physical level, you would use it to get more toning in your pelvic floor, to strengthen it, but to bring as well some softness into that. This mesh, this pelvic floor fascia, will give you the appropriate power to come into a proper alignment. So it supports a lot your lower back. It supports your upright position. It massages you from the bottom. So it supports your urogenital system. It creates, it gives a little bit of a boost to your digestive system. Obviously, with having this kind of increased blood flow in your pelvis, you will have more regulation of your hormonal levels, because these little hormones, they know what to do if we just give them permission to do so.
So Violeta, it's because you're doing exercises with it, or you just have it in you?
You can wear it. Well, that is the point. So that is the physical part, and the energetic part is like every stone has its different quality.
No, wait. Sorry, I wasn't clear. I mean, like, with the physical part, are you doing exercises, or is just wearing it enough?
I'm going to get back to you on that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I got it before. So these are the two rough paths, the physical one and the energetic one, like with the quality of the eggs.
Yeah.
Now, these are the two qualities the eggs are bringing in. Now, how you are going to use it is now the next thing. You can only wear it And there I always experience, I always tell women, just do it for 1 or 2 hours, maybe a day, and don't do it every day. Just like be very careful. It's like you're basically massaging your yoni from the inside. You are practicing. And when you would go for a jog, you wouldn't do it every day for 24 hours either. So just be very, very conscious of how much you're using the tool, and connect if it's really, if it is really necessary, or do you feel overly motivated for that? So there is the pure wearing it part. The other part is integrating some energetic exercises. So really inserting the egg and only feeling what it does with you, what it does with your body, what is more related to shamanic exercising, like to the shamanic practice. And the third one is the real exercising, physical exercising. Now, I'm not talking about the physical weightlifting and these type of exercises that I'm not really able to relate to. I'm talking about these very fine exercises where you can just, you know, like with your blink, you can just move your tiny little muscles in a way that you haven't been able to do, because ideally we are able to activate all these muscles in any way we would like to. To give you an idea, here I have my hand. And if I want to move my thumb, I'm doing it, and my index finger. So, and if I want to play with my fingers, I'm able to do that. With every single muscle of our yoni, we are able to do the same if we just know how to do that. But the previous experiences we've been having, injuries we are carrying, emotions, conditioning, all that has created certain effects in our body. And I think just one effect that is, for example, the numbness. So we become so numb that we don't even know how we would be able to feel it, and how it would, what effect it would create, because we don't even know that we have. So if my hand is numb, and you know it sometimes, maybe when you have the tickling on the ends, you actually don't really know how to feel and what to do with the hand. So what we want to do is, we want to be able to activate every single muscle of our womb, of our yoni, to be able to serve us to the fullest purpose. And I'm talking about practical things now. I'm talking about peeing. I mean, that's a simple thing. You live in Europe as well, like I do, and you know it as well. Wintertime starts. Many women, they're so embarrassed when they start losing a few drops of their pee in the winter time, or when they laugh. That's the smallest qualities. Then we have the qualities with having an easier menstruation flow, like going into this phase, or deciding to go for a free menstruation, for example. Easier birthing experiences, more pleasurable sex, because once you get into this phase where you can really activate these muscles and have more sensitivity in your yoni, in your vaginal channel, because it's full of reflexology points, you are actually really able to experience enhanced pleasure. And now I'm really talking about sexual pleasure. So these are the qualities that you bring in. Now, not everybody is going for that sexual pleasure, but when you feel healthier, and when you feel more filled with vitality, and when you feel really softer with yourself, you are actually really able to experience in heightened states of pleasure, which maybe have not been accessible for you before.
So is it safe to say also, because I've heard teachings of, well, names are not important, but someone said that men, their masculinity is really located in their penis, and if they would inhabit their penis, not in a sexual way, just in a accept your manhood and be proud and be gentle, and that's where their power is. And that of women, it's in their breasts and the heart area. What would you say, what quality would bring it to us as human beings if we would fully inhabit our vagina, our yoni? What would that mean? How does that look?
What I feel and I'm talking now about my own experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I might dare, without naming, I might dare to talk about experiences of women I've been working with. The moment I start connecting with myself and my own sexuality, be it represented through the breasts, the yang organs, or the yin organ, what is the yoni, it doesn't really matter because they are one. I cannot just be connected to my heart center because my ultimate source of life is my yoni. So both of them play for me and play a major role in my life. And this connection, heart and yoni, is very important, especially for us women. And I think everybody who has had a kind of unconnected sex knows what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. It leaves you just plain. But once the connection goes to the heart, and I'm not talking about Hollywood heart, I'm talking about the real heart, the pure essential connection, then it's something different. So now when you're talking about these two centers, when you implement both of them in your life, you're living your life to the fullest. And that means you are able to have more awareness, first of all, more awareness of your body, more awareness of your needs, of your desires, of anything that arises in your body. You are able to communicate much better. And that obviously brings a much better connection when you are clear with your within. You're in a much better connection with people in your surrounding. And you are able to be to walk with more grace through life because you feel yourself much better. And as I said, it's sometimes it's not really just fun, you know. It's not just like, oh my god,
a lot of conditioning around it, a lot of hurt, a lot of everything.
Yeah. But I that is how I feel, that since I really connected with it, and obviously after I then realized, oh my god, there's too much to do, like it's a long path. I started feeling I live my life with this essence, and I'm living from a place of truth and knowledge. And it helps me serve my highest purpose.
Wow. Yeah, and I was also thinking, because you just showed the red jasper, it is, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. Somehow it feels like it's a stone for experienced people. I don't know why, but I have a rose quartz.
Yeah.
And which is very gentle, and it really feels like a nurturing, like a mother. Yeah. If I can, or like a lover, but like a very gentle, just how rose quartz looks only. It is such a gentle, beautiful, sweet energy. And the red jasper is a bit like Kali, like the fiery, that's how I don't know if I'm right.
Well, but this is my sex up your life stone.
What? One more time, the
sex up your life stone.
I'm right.
It really has that. It's an ass kicker, and it's not an easy one. You know, that's why I say every woman we have different qualities. Some of us are, you know, some women are very hard and very, you know, like boom, moving. So they would maybe need something more softening, something more pacifying. And then there are women who are ready to wake up and to get to move. They get something like that. There are women who are looking for clarity, for example. They would be able, I don't know if you can see here, they would get, for example, something like a red jasper. And currently I'm having many women who I'm taking on an obsidian journey, and they have this one, and this one really does magic. We've done it now for a month. I've been guiding women, and it is just amazing, the transformation we have gone through, because this actually, the obsidian evolves from the eruption of a volcano. And that's what he does. He brings the stuff that is deep within, it brings it up on the surface. Oh man, I can tell you. So every woman has her own qualities that are suitable for her.
So because I'm super attracted to the red jasper. It just, I feel like I think I need to have a red jasper. So if you would think, if I would say that, and you would think, you're not ready. Like how? Like, let's make this a consultation. I say to you, Violeta, I'm ready for the red jasper. How would you find out?
I would ask my stones if one of them wants to go with you. So I try not to be involved in this process because it's not my thing. What I can do is I can translate the language of the stones, because these babies, they are all made by us, so by me and my team. So they basically, I know them from the moment they were just like rocky and clumsy and big. And from that moment, it's like a little bit of a mother who knows what her child likes to eat, you know. And we would be.
I like the food analogy.
Yeah, me too. Well, anything food is cool.
Yeah, but okay. Do you? Are you? Sorry.
Me, okay, the stone would tell me okay, and it would tell me no. And sometimes I would know, for example, I currently don't have a red jasper, but in 2 months, I'm producing right now. In 2 months, I have a proper piece where I know there is a piece that is right for you, because all these stones are handmade actually. It's no factory production. That's why each one is an individual piece. And, you know, this red jasper might be suitable for one woman, and there might be red jasper suitable for you, but not this one. So my women wait until they get their stone. And this is, for me, like taking the right people to the right party. Imagine somebody's dragging you to a party and you don't want to be there. Everybody's pissed off. The host, you, and the one who is visiting as well. So it's a kind of uncomfortable atmosphere, and nobody's really happy with that. My thing is, and that's what I said, my highest purpose is to serve women, and it's one of them is to really bring them together with their yoni eggs, for them to have that yoni egg that is right for them.
Yeah, makes sense.
Just
at this moment, you couldn't tell me. You could tell me as soon as it's produced. Is that what you're saying as well?
Sometimes I have them, yes. Sometimes I do have, but sometimes the women have to wait.
No, but at this moment, I told you I think I'm ready for the red jasper, and you said,
yeah, for you personally, you mean?
Yeah,
I think I have one.
So you think that which means that I'm ready. That was actually the question.
I think if I listen to them, they're just like behind me, 2 walls behind me. And when I listen to them click, click.
Yeah, they're like, yeah,
it's one that's sort of in kind of this size, like medium small. It's a kind of in between size.
Yeah.
And it's a non-drilled one.
Yeah, I have a non-drilled one now as well, a small one. Oh, okay. This is, okay, 1 second. Live, this is all live. I'm, no, she's not. I'm having...
Oh my God, that's really funny. So here's my solo show. So here you have some of these gems. Let me entertain you. Some of these gems. That's a rose quartz. That's what she has already. I've been entertaining the audience.
I don't have a drilled one.
But this is the rose quartz you have.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but it looks bigger.
Yes, it's a slightly bigger one. Yeah.
Okay.
A smaller one.
This was a bit embarrassing. The neighbor came. Yeah, I could hear you talk English. He was looking for, okay. So anywho, everyone in the neighborhood knows now. Yes, people. It's not embarrassing at all, but maybe a little. Oh, wow. There's actually, I think we're kind of at the end. There's so much more I would like to know, but maybe later after my experience with the Jasper one as well. And I will, we can either, I'm thinking out loud. let's end the interview, and then I would like to talk to you for a couple of minutes more. What, before you go, Violeta, so first of all, thank you very much for making time and for sharing your knowledge and shining your light and doing this work. What would you like to give as an end of this conversation to women, like a tip, or like, is there anything you would like to share before you go?
I'd love women to be aware of their beauty. I think this is something that we very often forget in all these different roles we have in our lives, the mothers and the daughters and the lovers and the bosses and the workers. All this together makes it really impossible for us to focus on ourselves. So whatever you choose for yourself, if this is a yoni egg, if this is a bath, if this is a walk in nature, if this is an afternoon with your best friend, make it a ritual to care for yourself, because this is what keeps your essence alive. This keeps your fire glowing, and that what gives you the shine in your eyes. And once you have the connection to yourself in your heart, it's very easy to access the womb, and from there you can take it further and just continue shining, living the way that feels right for you, because all the answers are within, and we just need to look for them and to make space for them, and they're so incredibly powerful. We must remember.
Yeah, wow, that is wonderful. I'm going to listen to that myself a couple of times. Thank you so much, Violeta. Oh, and this is Emma.
I love that.
She also came to say hi. She doesn't.
Yes, exactly. She'd never ignore a dog.
So thank you. I'm going to end the recording, and then I would like to have a couple of minutes with you alone. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you liked. I will put Violeta, the link to Violeta's web shop in the description. So if you feel called to, then order a Yoni egg. Thanks everyone.